Coming up, we meet a business attorney whose connection with Tzu Chi began with a chance meeting. We learn more about how to prevent and face the onset of dementia, the disease. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Marilee Shoda. Thank you for joining us. The Tzu Chi Foundation is a Buddhist charity organization which is composed of volunteers from around the world. Business attorney Tzu Chi, who comes from California of the United States, is one such local volunteer. Although he grew up in a Christian family, over the past few months, he has begun participating in many Tzu Chi activities. He says by serving others, he's living a more fulfilled life.
To raise funds for Hurricane Harvey victims, Tzu Chi volunteers from California canvass for donations at a night market. Business attorney Tzu Chi also volunteers at events. He got to know Tzu Chi through this year's International Buddhist Film Festival in June.
I hadn't heard of the organization, wasn't familiar. I thought I was just going to be seeing some film screenings that had some emotional, thought-provoking content. This was different.
It was how Tzu Chi, who grew up in a traditional Christian family, made contacts with Tzu Chi. He started to develop a friendship with this organization a few months later.
I went home and I thought I really need to do even more. I was on the website. I was actually sending emails to the Contact Us page to get to start volunteering as quickly as possible.
By serving others, Todd has changed his life dramatically. Over the past few months, he has participated in almost every Tzu Chi activity, and he also served as a kitchen volunteer. He says this is the inspiration from Jinsi aphorisms.
After I had a couple of specific events regarding readings in this book, I decided to make this a daily read along with Master's daily life wisdom teachings.
Through the volunteer work, Todd has found a fulfilling life goal. He will attend the volunteer training session for a whole year next year, ready to become a member of the Tzu Chi family.
Staying in California, in the aftermath of the Northern California wildfires in the city of Santa Rosa, Tzu Chi volunteers have given care to affected households and brought them the hope to face the difficulties. In the meantime, the project of clearing the rubble after the fire has also started.
I just want to reestablish a place where, I can have my family gather together and have a meal and a comfortable place to sleep and a place of my own.
And for me, we'll find a place to live. But I like the neighborhood. It's a great community.
I think through the fire, one thing hit me really hard was impermeability. Like Master Zhen Yan, our teacher, told us, nothing is permanent. We should seize the moment and live in the flow of life to help people.
I came and talked to you, and you've helped me out, and I love everything that I've heard about what you do, and I'm going to become involved.
Thank you. Take care. Yeah.
I will.
Very calm in a time of feeling frightened, and it was really reassuring and really comforting. Really helped me learn to try and breathe.
When we give the recipients aid relief, you can see the smiles on their faces, or even when you are crying right alongside them. These are the deep emotions I felt during this.
I did not really anticipate so much kindness, but the Tzu Chi Foundation is a perfect example of how we, I think, need to treat each other in this world.
Moving our focus to Mexico, the quake assessment in the country is nearing its final stages. Nearly 2 months after the event, Tzu Chi volunteers visited Jojutla for the final time, with 28 government employees joining their survey. The group endured the bright sun to ensure all the quake victims will receive the help they need. Prior to every confirmation survey, Tzu Chi will host an informative meeting to explain what it is they are here to do.
We're introducing the organization to them, whether they are local volunteers or government officials. We want them to understand Tzu Chi's spirit and also the meanings behind the bamboo coin banks.
In Huautla, 28 government officials joined the survey process. And once everyone reaches the quake-affected zones, it's already 11 a.m. But they proceed on with the home visitations underneath the bright noon sunlight.
No, acá no están viviendo. Lo que pasa es que les prestaron allá arriba.
I don't live here anymore. My home is definitely being demolished. So we moved away, and when things are cleared away, we'll come back to rebuild.
The quake victims are nearly all living in tents or their cars, which makes it even more difficult to sleep at night.
It's very cold at night. I can't keep warm here. I need many more blankets to ward off the cold.
This elderly couple's living situation breaks the volunteers' hearts, as they could only seek shelter in the parts of the house that hasn't collapsed.
The house they built with their hands has completely been changed in just one night. Their hearts must be suffering, and they are also not well.
After joining this home visitation trip, the government authorities now fully knows the situation of these disaster victims.
You've come so far to help the disaster victims. You pay for the trip yourself. You don't sleep well, don't eat well, all for the sake of the quake victims. It truly touches my heart. You're here.
From 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., these volunteers did not take a rest, but instead vowed to continue this mission tomorrow, as to ensure all those in need of assistance can get the help they need. Being forgetful or absent-minded may be funny to some, but it may also represent the onset of dementia. At the moment, 1 out of every 12 people over the age of 65 suffers from this disease. As the brain atrophies, it can lead to the loss of many functions, such as memory, as well as an ability to control emotions, finally ending in death. The cause of this brain atrophy is not clear, and there is no effective medication as well. In fact, since the human brain is an organ, when it becomes sick and degrades, it can lead to many difficult problems, which modern society will soon need to address.
When one's behavior is out of control.
Before, we had a patient who ran through red lights.
When all of the love and affection are erased. Sudden panic attacks.
I wondered how I could become this way. Why me? I thought it was impossible, but it is true.
When they are diagnosed with dementia, it's the same as if we are diagnosed with a major illness, which many will initially deny.
One day we may suffer from amnesia, loss of control, and death. This is the countdown showing the end may be near, as there is little that we can do.
Once dementia symptoms appear, it's often the brain seeing a reduction in the function of brain cells to a great extent.
I'm scared. I'm really scared. One day I do not remember going home. I may not remember you as my friend.
When I'm no longer me, I really miss myself when I was healthy.
For example, I may forget to turn left or right, and I don't know which building is the right one.
Bai Wanzi goes to this campus dozens of times but still forgets which is her classroom. This is one of the challenges she faces.
The front gate and back gate I frequently get wrong and become lost. I don't know where my classroom went.
One black eye was caused because of a loss of balance, which can be a symptom as well as a loss of direction. Dementia has been a mystery to the medical profession. In truth, the word dementia isn't just a single disease, but actually multiple diseases.
Basically, most people suffering from dementia are those with a degenerative type, and also those with a vascular type, and those with hybrid of these symptoms.
The most commonly heard of form of dementia is Alzheimer's disease, Lewy body-related dementia, and frontotemporal dementia. These are all degenerative types of dementia. The second category is vascular dementia, which is due to stroke and other cardiovascular diseases. And finally, there are many causes of mixed variety dementia. But for physicians, the tricky part of dementia is that while we can predict the outcome, we still don't know the reason behind the disease.
This disease is not like a common disease because it is tantamount to letting your brain slowly degenerate until the end. By the time you diagnose it, it may be too late.
Of dementia sufferers, the highest proportion, a figure as high as 60% of patients, suffer from Alzheimer's disease. This is due to abnormal protein accumulation in the brain, resulting in neurodegeneration and tissue dying.
Alzheimer's disease has two major characteristics. The first is the brain accumulates an amyloid-like protein. The second, it has an accumulation of phosphorylated tau protein.
Looking at this image, which is a cross-section of the brain, here is a normal person's brain, shows healthy tissue. While on the right-hand side, we see a dementia patient's brain, which appears hollow, especially the hippocampus, which is in charge of short-term memory. There almost seems to be a hole, as many struggle to find the reason why.
In fact, we cannot change the course of this disease with medicine at the moment. So far, we have medicine that can improve a patient's memory, cognitive function, or emotions.
Since we don't know the reason for this disease, there is no cure at the moment, as we can only treat the symptoms, as dementia is equivalent to terminal illness. Once it starts, the end is inevitable. This is a group home run by the Sisters of Our Lady of China Catholic Charity Social Welfare Foundation in Jiayi. A total of 16 elderly people with dementia are being cared for here. This grandmother suffering from dementia is cutting onions and then changing to a kiwi. Her work is quite neat and perfect, as sometimes these elders have skills that defy expectations and surprise researchers.
Of course, one of the thoughts believes that dementia is akin to our brain being a database, which we are not able to access. When elders use a knife, moving it up and down, in fact, she is accessing remote muscle memory.
Some people say that dementia is like a hard disk crashing, as the memory is still there, but just can't be accessed. In the future, there may be more clues potentially providing answers. At the moment, those over 65 in Taiwan see 1 out of 12 people suffer from dementia, causing a potential crisis in the future.
Global warming is becoming a bigger problem every year as countries seek ways to reduce their carbon emissions. DaAi TV took the opportunity to interview the Sustainability Director at State Agency for Nature, Environment, and Consumer Protection in North Rhine-Westphalia. The director's proposal to reduce carbon is very simple, and it begins with each and every government unit reducing their carbon output.
Germany's State Agency for Nature, Environment, and Consumer Protection is often referred to by the acronym LANUV. Here in the German city of Essen, we see this office building is floor-to-ceiling glass, transmitting lots of light and saving electricity.
Wir haben verschiedene Maßnahmen im Gebäude- und Liegenschaftsmanagement.
All of our colleagues have a consensus that when we leave our seat or the office, we must take the time and make sure that all of the lights are off in our office. We must turn off all of the lights, and we must also turn off all of the power at home too, because everyone here is very conscious about our overall energy consumption. The electricity savings that we have been able to achieve is about 10%.
This is an employee's restaurant. Every Friday, there is a very special place in this restaurant, as this row of serving containers is filled with food. It is leftover food accumulated Monday through Friday from the restaurant. It is put here as it is hoped that all employees can help out and cut down the food waste together.
If we really have remaining food and ingredients, the restaurant will donate it to a church or charity. We want to give this food to the people who really need it, hoping it can find another use.
Lanuve employs a total of 1,400 staff. It recently purchased 16 electric vehicles, which appear like a container vehicle, but actually is used to measure air pollution at disaster sites.
Our main job is to go where fires occurred, and we measure local air pollution index, and then report it to nearby residents as to what kind of precautions should be taken.
In the beginning, they are very white, and after 1 day of about 700 cubic meters of air flowing through, they look here in this place like this.
Different government staff are working hard to reduce carbon levels and ensure air quality, as the ability to deploy mobile monitoring equipment to different sites has been the key to environmental protection.
In our continuing series of individuals who are talented in painting, today we meet a senior high school student, Chen Yuwen, who learned to paint when he was in kindergarten. Back then, his talent was something his father often boasted about. However, as he grew to be an adolescent, conflicts between him and his father also increased, which strained their relationship. It wasn't until the family began to raise a pet did the father and son find common ground once more.
这个也是他2010年的时候的作品。
Chen Yuwen has shown his talent for painting since childhood. Being engaged in the colorful world helps calm his mind.
画画带给我的感觉就可以
Through painting, I can concentrate and temporarily put other things aside. I feel relaxed when I paint.
就可以比较放松一点。
Chen's mother is not always by his side, and he lives with his father.
小时候来学画画，他都会带我。
When I was young, my father took me to a painting class every week.
学这样。
Chen was happy that his father took him to the painting class at that time. However, as he grows, he sometimes argues with his father.
有时候我跟他讲话，有时候
Sometimes I may talk to him in a very strict way when he does something wrong. I'm also very demanding, but sometimes I feel confused.
Chen expresses his thoughts through painting, setting up a communication bridge between him and his father.
所以你知道爸爸的意思是什么？
懂，就是我懂了，就是他关心我。最近这几个月。
Since a few months ago, we started to raise cats. He often plays with the cats, so we have a common topic to talk about.
共同的话题可以聊的。
I looked at a picture when I painted. All the actions are from my imagination.
With the assistance of Child Welfare League Foundation, Chen is able to continue learning to paint. Tzu Chi volunteers have also provided long-term company and care.
Many Tzu Chi brothers and sisters have been caring for Chen as they may guide him to do schoolwork after he returns home from school.
Chen said that when he grows up in the future, he will volunteer to teach children who want to learn to paint, just like the way other people have helped him.
When Indonesia's Onset River flooded in 2002, Tzu Chi volunteers carried out a disaster relief mission and built a DaAi village for the local residents living along the banks, enabling them to start anew. Among the residents is 26-year-old Hassan Basri, who is now working at DaAi TV Indonesia. He has fulfilled his promise to Master Jinyan and become a certified Tzu Chi volunteer. At the certification ceremony, he expressed his deepest gratitude to Tzu Chi while vowing to walk the Tzu Chi path life after life.
Along the dark Onset River that passes through Jakarta live the impoverished workers from other regions. Their children also live a harsh life next to piles of garbage.
I grew up living next to the Anka River. I am an adult now.
26-year-old Hassan Basri recalls how Onset River flooded due to heavy rain in 2002. Tzu Chi volunteers and the government worked together to clean up Onset River and build DaAi village for the local residents. In 2004, he left Onset River and moved into the new home. Then he was able to continue schooling and work part-time to finish his college education. In 2012, he came to Taiwan for training as a staff member of DaAi TV Indonesia. He has always kept in mind his promise to Master Jinyan.
Master, I am Hassan. I want to become the eyes, hands, and feet of Master and spread wholesome stories. I want to be the Master's good disciple.
He has fulfilled his promise and become a certified Tzu Chi volunteer. The kid who once played among the piles of garbage is now ready to carry out Tzu Chi's missions.
For life after life, I will walk the Tzu Chi path, passing down the Dharma teachings. Thank you, Master. Thank you, Indonesia Tzu Chi. Thank you, Tzu Chi uncles and aunts. My deepest gratitude to you.
The once foul river is now clear and clean. The people who live along the riverbank have also started a new chapter of their lives.
In Malaysia, one volunteer started taking drugs when he was about 17 years old. After he quit drugs and got married, he became addicted to alcohol. Even when he learned about Tzu Chi and recognized the organization's principles, he couldn't quit his bad habit of drinking. Finally, after he watched the film on how Master Cheng Yen persevered with building a hospital for the needy, he decided to change for the better. At the beginning of this year, he finally quit alcohol and got certified as a Tzu Chi volunteer.
Len Fong Lam had some friends who misled him when he was young. He quit school at the age of 15 and started taking drugs when he was 17.
I tried quitting drugs many times, but I failed. It's because when some friends lured me, I was attracted by them, and therefore I followed them.
When he was 26 years old, he moved to Kelantan to work and therefore stayed away from his friends who took drugs. With his strong will and the help of a clinic, he successfully quit drugs. Then he got married the next year. Unfortunately, he then fell in love with alcohol, and he was addicted to it for 30 years.
He caused trouble after he drank alcohol. The most serious case was when he lay down next to the train track, unable to return home. I could not tolerate his wayward behavior.
He learned about Tzu Chi in 2013 and recognized the importance of doing good deeds. Although he began volunteering with Tzu Chi, he still could not quit his bad habits.
I was eating meat. How could I change my habits of consuming meat and alcohol? Therefore, I put off getting rid of my bad habits.
Then during volunteer training course, he saw a film about how the master persevered with building a hospital for the needy. He finally decided to quit his bad habits.
I cried along with her. I also thought that I should not keep my bad habits. I should follow the master and take actions to help those in need.
With a strong will, when Len Fong Lam joined the Sutra adaptation in 2015, he adopted a vegetarian diet. Then he drank less alcohol. Finally, at the beginning of this year, he quit alcohol, impressing his friends and families.
They asked, why did Tzu Chi change me? I said it is because we have the will to change. I have the will to change.
With a strong will, Len Fong Lam has turned over a new leaf, vowing to become Master Cheng Yen's good disciple.
Pingdong's Zhutian Elementary School students are working with the Taiwan Toy Library Association to gather secondhand toys from the area and incorporating it into school curriculums. This project has not only helped to reduce the area's plastic trash, but also given toys an extended lease on life. We'll leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for joining us today. Goodbye.